I don't think women understand that men are just sick and tired of their crap. I have lived long enough, guys, and I'm here to tell you that many men that enter relationships get the short end of the stick. They barely got anything of value back in return for what they provided in that relationship. I've seen men sacrifice their entire lives to provide for their partner and her family when they were in a bind, and you know how she repaid him. She left him for another man and abandoned their kids. I've known men who gave their woman anything she wanted. No matter what it was, they did their best to make their wives and girlfriend happy, and their repayment for all that hard work and kindness was a kid from another man. These are the things that turn men into villains. These are the things that make men want to stop dating indefinitely because, after all that sacrifice, good intentions, and money spent, they still lost in the end. After doing so much for the woman they loved and they thought loved them equally, they still took an L and gained nothing. It's sad as hell, but this is the reward men get for loving and committing to modern XXs. Many men are just sick and tired of losing when it comes to women, and I believe we are at the moment when enough is just enough. I think men are just done with dating and relationships because it just isn't worth it. If you guys think I'm full of crap, or do you think I'm over-exaggerating or being doom and gloom, ask yourself this question. How many of you have left a relationship and when you left, you were better off in most aspects of your life? You were better off financially and physically, you were in control of your emotions, and your mental state was healthy. How many of you were better off when the relationship ended? Most men who enter relationships end up worse off after the relationship ends than when they were single. Meaning the woman came into their lives and added little to no value but made their lives worse on their way out. I've experienced this firsthand in my own relationships, and I'm sure many more men watching this video can back me up on this point. Think about the married men who can barely get any sex from their wives, who they provide and care for. Think about the men who sacrificed, risked, had kids, bought houses and cars for their families and still lost almost everything. Think about how messed up and tragic that is. They did all that, and it still wasn't enough to keep the woman and their family intact. Some men even end up in jail after being falsely accused of something they didn't do because the ops got greedy and vindictive on the way out of the relationship or marriage. Think about all those men on child support and the fathers who want to be in their kid's life but cannot be there because of one evil person. How many men can honestly say relationships made them better after all the suffering and chaos they had to go through? Do you see what I mean? Pain and misery await those men who try to do the right thing and ensure their family is happy. So it's not even a debate on whether or not men are better off in relationships because obviously men end up worse after a divorce or nasty breakup if they never recover. Unfortunately, men who go through gray divorces know this truth all too well, but that's the price men pay for trusting XXs. But on the flip side, how many women leave the relationship with a better lifestyle? How many women win cash and prizes? How many women actually level up and monkey branch to a better man? How many women were better off on their way out of the relationship or marriage? Think about that and tell me if you still think relationships make sense for men today. Men do not enter and leave relationships better off because women never have the mindset of building up their boyfriends or husbands to elevate the family and stay with them until death do us part. They intend to build up their partners to build themselves up, and they could care less about the kids and the kids' future. They have the mindset of using men to get the things they cannot get on their own, and that's the reality men must accept. This is why they don't love you guys, but they love what you can do for them, and as such, they have standards and requirements before they commit or say yes to the marriage proposal. The truth is they are selfish. They're selfish human beings who only care about themselves and will do any and everything it takes to get the things they want. Even if it means destroying the people's lives around them, they'll do it. How does that make you feel, knowing you're just a means to an end for most XXs you try to wife up and commit to? If it makes you sick to your stomach, I don't blame you, but the truth is the truth whether you like it or not. So ask yourself this question. Why am I still trying to make relationships work when the person I'm trying to make it work with is my enemy? They don't have your best interest at heart. They only care about themselves and what they have to gain from the relationship. So why would you guys still try to make things work when the odds are against you? To me, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever to buy that lottery ticket, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks the same. I wouldn't be surprised if the odds of winning the lottery are higher than having a legit happy and successful relationship or marriage. Because let's be honest, most men who enter relationships are going to fail. Most men are not going to win in the end. Most men who enter relationships will probably get betrayed, cheated on, or lose money by a child support or a divorce scraping. When women leave, they won't just leave in peace and walk out the door without causing some sort of BS. They'll try to take something from their partners or paint them out to be the bad guy or abusers. So I am asking you guys, what is the point of pursuing these dementors when the end result is pain and suffering? Men are starting to realize this. Men are starting to see that this doesn't make sense and realize the juice isn't worth the squeeze. This is how you know things are bad when the average man who is a decent and upstanding citizen trying to do his best to provide for his family can't even do that anymore, all because of one person. At this point, no man should object that the divorce is planned before the wedding or the breakup is planned before the commitment. Women marry men as starter husbands all the time and enter relationships because they are desperate, struggling, or tired of getting ran through. The data is already out there to back me up and prove that's what they do. Clearly, they don't take men's commitment seriously. All they want is what they feel entitled to. So I'm trying to rationalize why men would choose to play the relationship game and play into the palm of the modern woman. I don't get why, in 2023, with all this information and evidence, men are still eager to commit and go on bending knee when it's not beneficial for them. But it is what it is, ninjas are dumb. Until men can conquer their weakness for the divine feminine and pleasures of the flesh, we'll still see men fumbling and stumbling through life without ever realizing how good it feels to be a single man. Look at it from this perspective. Women have more or less taken away every incentive for the average man to want to commit and be in a relationship nowadays. We know this, and that's not changing anytime soon. That is the reality that we have to accept. The truth is XXs nowadays don't value men. They hate men. They don't care about performing their duties and ensuring their husbands and boyfriends are happy. They'll do that for Pookie, Ray Ray, Shadron, and Tyrone, but decent men who risk and sacrifice everything for them, there's no chance they'll get king treatment. They don't care if those men are satisfied, and they definitely don't care if the relationship lasts. That is how they treat the hands that feed them, but are all too willing to love and treat the men who don't care about them or give them anything the best treatment possible. Doesn't that make your skin crawl to know you can do everything right and still get treated like crap? I have experienced this firsthand, so I know how it feels, and to this day, I regret staying in that relationship. Modern women don't have men who love them as a priority anymore, which is why I would never recommend relationships nowadays. Because let's say that you're trying to dodge the negatives of being out here in these streets, or you don't want to be single forever, and you decide to go into a relationship. The woman you choose to be with can bring the things you were running from into your relationship at any point. If you were running from STDs, she could bring one straight to you. If you were running from XXs with a high number of bodies, she could have a lot of bodies without telling you the truth. If you were running from single mammies, she could carry another man's kid and make you think it's yours. If you were running from a lack of bedroom fun, she could stop giving you frequent access at any point or outright stop giving you any. If you were running from loneliness, she could make you feel the loneliest you've ever felt in your entire life, even though you're in a relationship. When you look at all those factors, where is the win? I don't see any when the bait and switch is always at play, so relationships will not be on the table for me and hopefully not for you as well. You guys must get my point by now and realize that it's just best to stay alone. Men worldwide are waking up to the truth and the things we discussed and choosing to hold the line instead of taking a bad deal. So what say you? Will you join the small but growing group of men who refuse to lose everything in relationships and gain nothing, or will you disregard everything that was said and choose the hope strategy? Choose wisely, because when you get screwed over, understand that nobody is coming to save you, nor will they care about what you're going through. Prevention will always be better than cure, so why not do everything in your power to avoid the pain and misery when a woman chooses to leave? The choice is yours. Click the video on the screen for more stomach-churning RP content that will make you look at relationships with disgust.